99% of people around the world are living a great lie. The truth is, you don't have to struggle and exhaust yourself to achieve success. Have you ever felt like the harder you try, the more stuck you become? Are you, perhaps, unknowingly paddling upstream against the current? Today, I'm going to unveil the ultimate principle that will transform your life from one of hardship to one of simplicity and fulfillment. Stick around, because what you are about to hear will completely change how you view effort, success, and happiness. Let's dive right in with the image of the boat and the current. Imagine a boat. Our expectation is for it to travel from point A to point B. The water's current presents two dramatically different scenarios. Case 1. Alignment with the water current. If the boat is simply aligned with the current, and it also has a strong rower and a powerful engine, will it reach its destination easily? Absolutely. It's so simple. In fact, even if the rower lets go, the boat might still drift toward point B. That is the power of ease. Case 2. Against the current. What if the current is entirely against us? No rower, no engine, and the boat will never reach its destination. If you do have a rower and an engine, you have to exert many times the effort just to make progress toward your goal. When illuminated by the wise guide regarding this image, we see a profound truth. The lives of 99 out of 100 people are spent constantly striving and struggling just to get what they want, just to hope for a good life. And look around, the moment they stop striving, their life instantly starts to deteriorate. Are we paddling the boat of our life against the current? Do we have to constantly struggle just to move forward? And the moment we let up, we drift right back to the start. Many people just want to live honestly, to do business ethically, but they find life so difficult and full of hardship. By the time we reach 60 or 70, our energy is depleted and we give up. That's when we bitterly realize, wow, this life really was too hard and too difficult. So, what is the principle of aligning with the current in human life? If we liken a person's life to a boat, then the current represents the laws and principles that governs your existence. When we feel our life is painful and difficult, that is the only warning sign we need. We are going against the current. Living in harmony with these universal laws and principles, that is the secret to a life that is simple and fulfilling. One of the fundamental principles we apply to create a path for your transformation is the principle of light. I invite you to visualize the simplest image. Draw a dark room in your mind. Let's acknowledge an obvious truth. Light and darkness are opposites, governed by the principle of duality. If light is present, darkness recedes. If darkness is present, light is absent. They cannot coexist simultaneously. So, we have a dark room, and our only desire is for it to become bright. Theoretically, we have two paths. Path 1. We try to take all the darkness out, using hands, machines, every effort to physically pull the darkness away. Theoretically, the room will be bright if all darkness is removed. Path 2. We simply need to bring the light in. In reality, which solution do we choose? Doesn't even a child, when they see a dark room, know to look for the switch and flip the light on? Because reality has proven an absolute truth. The moment light appears, darkness automatically vanishes. We never have to waste energy or effort trying to take all the darkness out of the room. It's that simple. And this is the principle of light. This is the foundational understanding of the world. But in the human life, are we living in harmony with this principle of light? To clarify, I invite you to draw the house of your life. These are the four central aspects of human existence. The foundation of the house is inner being. The left pillar is health. The right pillar is relationships. The roof is finance. The wise ones have shown us. Want to master your life? Just master your inner being, health, relationships, and finance, and you will simply master your own destiny. Most people are driven to master their business, master their career, yet very few are truly committed to mastering their own life, to mastering those four crucial dimensions of human existence. This is an absolutely vital piece of wisdom. So, why is it that we feel plagued by so many adversities in this life? We need to look at this multidimensional web of interconnectedness. Let's examine each pillar. If inner being is the root, when our internal world is turbulent, full of jealousy, anger, or resentment, doesn't it instantly impact our relationships? Doesn't that inner landscape of complaint and hatred have a terrible effect on our own health? And even more profoundly, our inner state has a huge impact on our financial outcome. But this interaction is never just one way. If health is the root, a person who is constantly anxious about their health will never have true inner peace. Thus, health impacts inner peace. We may want to love our children and care for our family, but we lack the physical capacity to carry out that right to love. This affects relationships. Ultimately, poor health turns medical expenses and lost income into an invisible financial burden, eroding years of accumulated material wealth, affecting finances, material wealth. If relationships are the root, human interaction can bring either ultimate joy or ultimate pain to our inner peace. And, quite obviously, relationships are the bridge to our financial well-being and are a crucial factor in demonstrating our long-term happiness and health. If finance is the root, good financial health is the prerequisite for us to properly take care of our health and nurture our relationships when the motivation is truly loving. And during times of crisis, like the COVID pandemic, stable finances are the single biggest factor that can bring inner peace. So, can you clearly see this multidimensional correlation now? They are all interconnected. Because of this constant interplay, when an adversity emerges, it is never just a solitary adversity. It immediately drags in and creates problems in the other aspects. So, how can we align ourselves with the principle of light? To achieve that, the wise ones have pointed us toward an image that I ask you to pay attention to and remember for the rest of your life. This is one of the most valuable images a person can possess. Please draw the house again. Inner being is the foundation. Health is the left pillar. Relationships is the right pillar. Finance is the roof. Now, I invite you to draw a large hexagon right inside that house. It is divided into 7 aspects, which are wisdom, mentation, character, virtue, competency, physicality, and material wealth. What is the significance of this diagram? Instead of trying to solve the problems with our inner being, solving the problems with our health, solving the problems with our relationships, solving the problems with our finances, addressing the issues that arise which are like darkness, let us light the lamps. Light the lamp of wisdom, light the lamp of mentation, light the lamp of character, light the lamp of virtue, light the lamp of competency, light the lamp of physicality, light the lamp of material wealth. The problems related to inner being, health, relationships, and finance will gradually fade away. Instead of solving problems, the advice now is to get rich. You can take this quote down. Instead of focusing on adversities, let's focus on building wealth. But get rich in what? Holistic wealth. Typically, we only think of material wealth, money, assets. Is a person with money and assets rich enough? The truth is, no. If that person is rich in material things but doesn't have good physicality, they will feel that life has no meaning. But if they also have physicality, that wealth is immediately multiplied many times over. Only then can we truly enjoy life to the fullest and find it much more meaningful. But let's look at reality. Somewhere out there are people who inherit fortunes. Money comes to them without being generated by their own competency. Over time, if their competency is less than the amount of wealth they possess, that richness certainly cannot be sustainable. Therefore, it has been affirmed. If you want sustainable wealth, if you want to be called truly rich, that wealth must be accompanied by competency. Wealth supported by competency is durable. But social awareness is gradually increasing. People are starting to see some individuals have material wealth, physicality, and competency, but they don't create great value for the community. Gradually, that richness becomes meaningless. So what is the new standard? They begin to evaluate people with outstanding virtue, those who live with compassion, property, righteousness, wisdom, and trustworthiness. They observe rich people use their money to help others, to help the world. That's when it feels like that person with finance is truly meaningful, and the value they create is truly great. And gradually they affirm, rich in virtue. That is the definition of a truly rich person. And over time, we see another bitter truth. Some people stand at the peak of success, but live in extreme loneliness. Why? Because no one wants to be around them. That wealth, that success, does not represent a person's true richness. So, it has been affirmed, to be truly rich, you must also be rich in character. Personality helps us keep people beside us. When many people are living by your side, that is when you are truly rich. Otherwise, all that success only brings loneliness. Loneliness because no one wants to be near you. But the journey doesn't stop there. Let's assume you have people by your side, good health, and sufficient material wealth. But what if that person's inner being is lacking? What if they aren't happy? If they lack the state of inner peace, tolerance, honor, and gratitude for life, then that wealth is still not true happiness. Therefore, one must also be rich in ment adian. Only then is that person truly rich. And over time, after analyzing all these aspects, a concept even deeper was revealed. All those other factors, from material, physicality, capability, qualities, personality, or state of mind, all originate from a person's wisdom. If a person truly wants to be rich and wants to maintain their wealth, the prerequisite is to maintain their wisdom. The profound concepts of state of mind, personality, and qualities. We will clarify these in upcoming videos. But after this analysis, can you see clearly? If a person is truly rich in wisdom, mentation, character, virtue, competency, physicality, and material wealth, don't we deserve to be called holistic wealth? We can categorize them. Wisdom, mentation, character, virtue are the non-material, intangible factors. Competency, physicality, material wealth are the material, tangible, and measurable factors. A person's competency can be measured. Their health can be measured. Their material possessions can also be measured and seen. These are the material factors. So for someone to be truly rich, they must be rich in both material and non-mature factors. Because Your wealth must always come from the inside to empower the outside. The fundamental nature of wealth is material, but the stability of that material wealth is completely determined by the inner non-material factors. The world is making a huge mistake. They are defining richness only by competency, physicality, material wealth, and unknowingly, they are valuing you by those mature possessions. No, we need to reposition our own value. We must take the non-material factors, wisdom, mentation, character, virtue, to redefine our value by non-materialize those factors. That is the greatest significance of a person's endeavor to get rich. So, instead of tackling the adversities of life, let's focus on holistic wealth. That is one of the key realizations when we apply the principle of light to human life. In summary, if we take the adversities of life to represent the darkness, then the 7 aspects of holistic wealth are the light that will thoroughly dispel all the darkness of human existence. Specifically, wisdom, mentation, character, virtue, competency, physicality, and material wealth. So, instead of continuing to solve adversities, what is our direction from now on? The direction is holistic wealth. Next, we will deeply analyze the material and non-material factors to fully grasp how to apply this principle of light in life. There are 2 profound concepts: intangibilizing the material, materializing the non-material. Once we understand these 2 concepts, we will circle back and understand why we need to be all-round rich to light these lamps in all aspects of our human life. So, what is the meaning of materializing the non-material? Let's look at the non-material factors in life. Happiness is non-material. Inner peace is non-material. Love is non-material. Aren't these invisible factors felt by some and not by others? We see others are happy, but we don't know how to pass that happiness on to our children. Why? Because it's invisible. Because it's invisible, not everyone can perceive it. So, what is our goal? It is to find a way for all those invisible factors, from wisdom, mentation, character, virtue, to happiness and inner joy, to become tangible in the perception of many people, so they can easily possess them. Achieving that is precisely materializing the non-material factor. Look at traditional medicine. The subtle signs of poor health are invisible to the average person, but they are tangible in the perception of doctors. Look at business. Business opportunities are invisible in the eyes of the majority, but they are tangible in the perception of experts. They see money everywhere. So, how do we gain the ability of those doctors and experts? How do we dissect and surgically operate on our own inner peace, like performing a major inner surgery? That is the path of materializing the non-material factors. The goal is for your wisdom, mentation, character, virtue to become tangible in your awareness, so you can clearly see what level your wisdom is at, or what state your state of mind is in. When it remains invisible, we cannot see it, choose it, or possess it. But once your wisdom, inner peace, and tolerance have been fully clarified and have become tangible in your awareness, at that moment, you will decide, do I want to choose and possess it? When you choose and accept those things, that is when you materialize yourself. So, what is the meaning of intangibilizing the material? Let's consider this. Which of you has kept a sentimental object for many years and still holds on to it now? If you were to sell that item, its price wouldn't be much, right? But for us, the emotional value, the invisible factor it carries is very deep. By keeping it, You have intangibilized it, making it priceless in your perception. Look at branding. A handbag with a material value of only a few dozen dollars, but infused with non-material factors. Brand. Limited edition. It sells for hundreds of thousands of dollars on the market. The core principle is, any material factor, if someone knows how to introduce a non-material factor into it, that is, intangibilize it, the value of that product or service will rise to a very high level. Now, let's apply this to ourselves. We raise our children, educate them, give them good competency and good physicality, material factors that others see. And our children use that competency and physicality to exchange for financial well-being in society. But the painful truth is, we and society are valuing people only by those material factors. This competency, this physicality, means you only deserve this salary or this partner. Unknowingly, we have overlooked the fact that a person's true value is not just in ordinary material factors. Human value must be further elevated by the inner non-material factors: wisdom, mentation, character, virtue. Change your awareness. My value is not only defined by the competency or physicality I have, but also by my wisdom, mentation, character, and virtue. At that moment, when you intangibilize yourself by cultivating wisdom, state of mind, you will value yourself as worthy of a happy life, worthy of a harmonious marriage. Instantly, your being will become priceless in the eyes of others, and you will elevate your social relationships. Even if darkness has existed for 1,000 years, the moment light appears, the darkness instantly vanishes. So, instead of focusing on solving problems, let's focus on lighting these 7 lamps. Similarly, no matter how much resentment or anger a person holds, just by cultivating wisdom and mentation, we will thoroughly eliminate all those negative states. The horn hour and gratitude will erase complaint. Tolerance will erase resentment. The person's inner peace can completely erase suffering. The moment a person lights the lamps of wisdom and mentation, their life will experience a great transformation, triumphant. If your life doesn't have a concrete direction for the years ahead, please take holistic wealth as your vivification. If you don't have a clear direction for your children, please guide them to use all-round wealth as the compass for their development. So, how do we apply this principle of light to every aspect of life? Let's take an example. When you see your child running very fast, what is our inner tendency to say? Don't run too fast, you might fall. Do you see? Is that sentence heading toward the light? No. If we spoke with the direction of the light, we would say, walk slower so you can be safe. Reflect. In our daily lives, are we mostly speaking words of darkness? If you don't study, you'll probably end up begging. The truth is, we want our child to do well in school, right? But we use the language of fear, of lack. It's like this every day in life. If we are not careful with our words, we unintentionally lean toward the dark in our human life. But please don't worry. Over time, as we transform our mentation, we will be able to do this. Why? Because every word is carried by a certain energy from our inner self. With the energy of honor and gratitude, tolerance and inner peace, the language we use will automatically lean toward the light. When a person lights the lamp of wisdom and lights the lamp of mentation, their daily speech will automatically begin to shift. We don't have to try to control our words. The transformation happens on its own. That is how we apply the principle of light to our lives. Congratulations! We have understood a very important principle in life. Instead of solving the adversities in our human life, let us focus on holistic wealth. Now that we've concluded the powerful section on the principle of light, I'd like to introduce you to one more supremely important principle, the human brain activation principle. This isn't about conventional scientific brain activation. It's about activating the aspects of human life to accelerate our speed of growth beyond imagination. Please write down the 3 key phrases that will guide the rest of the life of anyone who truly understands this principle. Lesson, impression, realization. We need clear definitions for these 3 concepts to apply them fully. Lesson. This is any new information or knowledge you receive compared to before. It's something fresh that you haven't known. Impression. These are the things you learn that you feel you can definitely apply immediately to your life or your future. They are highly practical and actionable. Realization. This is when long-standing anxieties or questions that have been bothering you are answered today. It's the surprised aha moment in your mind, a profound opening or clarity. Why is this called the human brain activation principle? Let's reflect. When people go through adversity or major problems, if they emerge with no lesson, no impression, and no realization, what happens? The problem will continue. So why does the problem arise in the first place? Problems essentially come to force people to gain a lesson, to have a realization, and ultimately to grow. But how long is a human lifespan? If adversity keeps hitting us just so we can learn a lesson, our lives will be crushed and destroyed before we can accomplish anything valuable. This is the profound truth that the wise ones have revealed to us. A person doesn't need to go through adversity to grow. They only need the lesson to grow. If we can gain the lesson, impression, and realization through learning alone, we don't need to seek out adversity to mature. When you have the lesson beforehand, adversity won't even feel like a problem. Just like someone who has already cultivated their mentation, can resentment, anger, or suffering affect them? No, because they were prepared in advance. So instead of passively waiting for adversity, let's be proactive. Throughout this journey, dedicate a few minutes every single day to summarize. What lesson did I have today? What impression did I gain? What realization did I experience? Sharing your lesson, impression, and realization will give others lessons, helping our entire community to activate their minds together, spontaneously, without knowing exactly why, simply by sitting here, listening, taking notes, and summarizing your lessons. The world around you will automatically transform. We have successfully activated our human operating system. My dear friends, in summary, today we have unlocked 2 ultimate principles together. The principle of light. Instead of solving problems, focus on holistic wealth, lighting the 7 lamps for the darkness to naturally vanish. The brain activation principle. Proactively summarize your lesson, impression, and realization every day to accelerate your growth without waiting for crises. A heartfelt reminder from me. Knowledge is only truly valuable when it is applied. Start today by clarifying your own value through the lens of intangibilizing yourself. Wisdom, mentation, character, and virtue, and by practicing daily brain activation. If you find this knowledge essential and worth keeping for anyone, please help me share this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell icon to receive deeper dissecting new knowledge. Thank you for joining me on this path of intellectual development, creativity, and profound realization. Below are some lesson, impression, and realization shared by the video viewers. Lesson 1.
My name is David, and I work in the installation and technology transfer for the glass industry. My job is quite specialized. Each project can last anywhere from 3 days to 3 months. In our 8 years of marriage, the total time I've spent at home with my wife and children hasn't even added up to a full year. Recently, I noticed an issue. My wife was calling me less often. Immediately, a sense of darkness emerged within me. I thought to myself, have I lost my value? Have my wife and children forgotten my presence? In my fit of anxiety, I drafted an accusatory message. It was a message full of darkness. I read it over and over. Thoughts raced through my head. The fault is not mine. No one is at fault. It's only a lack of awareness. But in the end, I still decided to send that message. The next morning, my wife called. She burst into tears. I can't believe you think that way about me, and that you could say those things. We hung up. That afternoon, I called her back. My wife asked a question that made me feel like I couldn't breathe. You and I have been married for 8 years. The total number of days you've spent with our children and me hasn't been a year yet. I don't resent you. So why are you resenting me? In that moment, it felt like a gigantic rock was pressing down on my chest. I fell completely silent, thinking, this is it. Our family is ruined. But then, my wife continued, with a compassion or tolerance/forgiveness, baodong, I never expected. But thinking about it, you're right. I haven't been giving you much attention lately because I've been busy with work. And there was another reason. I wanted you to understand what it feels like to be home alone. After that, she apologized. Her apology was like someone lifting that rock off my chest. I could finally breathe again. I began to ponder deeply. Any relationship that is broken is lacking the energy of honoring and gratitude. I decided to practice acknowledging my wife's importance and her utility. I posed the question, ultimately, who is my wife? I realized my wife is truly my great helper. My wife has prepared for me and our child to continue living the rest of our lives if anything were to happen to her. She has given me unconditional tolerance. Now, every time I mention my wife, I feel ecstatic. That compassion is truly a great lesson I have received.
Advice from the sage. Congratulations on David for swiftly using the light of honoring and gratitude to dispel the resentment. You must remember, the problem does not lie in the nature of your job requiring you to be far away. The problem lies in your heart. Some people spend all their days with their families, but their hearts and minds are elsewhere. It amounts to the same thing. You may be far away from your family, but your heart must be focused on them. The time you spend away is the time you are buying future time for your children's development. Conversely, you return home, but your heart is not truly present with your wife and children, then no amount of time spent together holds any meaning. Do not feel that the nature of your work separating you from your family is the issue. Live completely and fully in the moments you have with your wife and children, and commit seriously to learning and transformation. Lesson 2.
Hello, everyone. My name is Julia. I have always programmed myself with the belief maturity comes through experience. And in my life, at 45 years old, I have had too many experiences. I was a single mother for 16 years, with no relatives to help. I knew only how to throw myself into work and make money. The more I raced outwards, the more money I earned. But my inner being was never at inner peace. I just kept running and running, because I thought, if I fall, there's no one behind me. Then my father passed away, in extreme pain, and it was less than 100 days later. I continued to rush back out to earn money because I thought, I must force myself to go out. I cannot rely on anyone. Serious. It wasn't until I came to the LKT community that I truly understood. The finance I was chasing, that is just the roof. It is my inner being that truly needs to achieve inner peace. Even though I live with much love and gratitude, because I lacked a governing philosophy, I kept stumbling and suffering continuous losses of loved ones, of finances. I'd make money only to lose it again in so many different ways. I clearly see an egg that is cracked from the outside becomes food, but an egg that is cracked from the inside becomes life. I will not allow life to crush me anymore. I yearn to find a place for my heart to anchor, so that my inner being may find inner peace. I am grateful to have found this place. It is like the place I can cling to, no matter what happens. Instead of paying the price with expensive life lessons, I will work to accumulate the 7 holistic wealth. I clearly see an egg that is cracked from the outside becomes food, but an egg that is cracked from the inside becomes life. I will not allow life to crush me anymore. I yearn to find a place for my heart to anchor, so that my inner being may find inner peace. I am grateful to have found this place. It is like the place I can cling to, no matter what happens. Instead of paying the price with expensive life lessons, I will work to accumulate the 7 holistic wealth. I am fully present and dedicated to learning because I have been waiting for this for a very long time. I can feel the pure, wholesome energy field and immense peace from LKT. I passionately desire to train myself to mature because I have 2 children behind me. I want to have the root philosophy and core knowledge to help my children and anyone I meet on my life's path.
Advice from the sage. Your previous regret and awareness, cheat Julia, was rushing to earn money because of circumstances. At that stage, it was sufficient. But now, with a new level of awareness, you will have a new experience. You should dedicate more time to your mother. Let your perspectives be the foundation for your children, not your finances or your life circumstances. All right, everyone. I'll say goodbye for now. Wish you all a good night's sleep, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.